points down is good. A little bit further down. These are primary colors. They're beautiful, and they make up our universe. I think we're over here. So we can use technology to see things that we never imagined seeing before. When I learned magnetic resonance technology, I'm looking at a proton. I'm looking at a single atom. I'm looking at the magnetic spin of that atom, and I can see into the heart. And we call that resonance because we listen. So yeah, I'm in yoga now. And the reason I am is because a lot of times we don't listen to our own heart. It's a language that we lost. And this is primary colors. This is what sits on my desk. This is actually stained art glass that my wife made for me, and it's called the coronal view. And it's a section across the heart that we commonly see, the chambers of the heart, and all of those primary colors make up this fragile structure that when we shine light through it is beautiful. And so what I want to do today is to try and give you a little bit of a view of what I see in the heart, not so much from the advanced technology, but from the original technology. So I kind of was looking at it this morning and I was going, 7 ways your heart is linked to a healthy lifestyle. Well, the heart is an electrical organ, it's a mechanical organ, and it's also a gland. Some people think the soul lies there, we're not sure. But we do know that it is actually the first thing that you see on an ultrasound that's beating that we consider life. It develops before almost anything else in the body, and it's necessary to deliver the circulation to every cell in the body. And it, along with the nervous system and the packaging system called the fascia, create that vessel, that Stradivarius violin that we all are. Each one of us is as unique because of our resonance, because of our circulation, because of this wave of flow that takes the 5 liters through our body every minute, and yet we're not bouncing around. If each one of you look on the floor, you'll see hearts on every corner of this carpet. And yet, we don't even feel our own heart doing all that work. So in some ways, if we had 7 days to create heaven and earth, I look at the 7 ways as each day a chance to perfect a pattern that honors this wonderful gift that we've been given. When we are brought into being, we're given this body. We don't get to choose the body like a car, but we have that stewardship that requires our constant awareness of it. And part of it is the ability to listen. And so it's kind of an explosion in my mind to see how little I listened. And this is what my training brought me to. Catastrophic care, which cannot be sustained. It's not necessary to wait until there's a problem to prevent the problem. Early detection, all of the things that we're doing, as Lizanne pointed out, to prevent heart disease, to put off heart disease are critical. But this is no longer going to be the option that we'll choose. And so the first and most important thing is really simply to wake up. So when I got up at 4:52 this morning, it was peculiar because I actually had oriented my body like this, with my arms like that, and I had actually my heart resting just maybe a millimeter off of the mattress. And I could feel it. I could actually feel the squeezing, pulsing action of the heart. The heart moves about an inch with every heartbeat. It actually is almost like wringing out a dishcloth. Here I am, a cardiologist. I've had MRIs, ultrasound, stress tests. I've had everything done. And I thought, Jesus, on the day that I'm giving a talk like this, I'm actually waking up to my own heart. And I've been trying to figure out a way to really tell you that we have to get out of our heads. We've created a world. It's a great world. It serves us. But most of the things that we do after we come out of what I call warranty are disadvantageous to us. We overstress, we overeat, we overwork, we don't rest, and we keep saying this is what we need to do. And we're telling our body what to do and not listening to it. We take a pill when we overeat. We stay awake by using medications. We go to sleep by using medications. And it makes no sense at all. What we need, I think, to do is to wake up to our original vision, to that really which we were born with. We lose it about age 5 or 6. At 5 and 6, you are actually learning the world. And then once that language gets taught, it's as if you moved to a foreign country and you forgot your body. You put shoes on and you don't know where your feet are. I mean, right now I see patients all day and they have neuropathy. They can't even feel their own toes. They're not moving. They're actually sitting in a chair, and a chair is actually the new smoking. It's one of those things where I saw a physician today in the office, you know that you need and benefit from doing these things, but you come up with all these head games. And you come around it because you don't feel your own heart. You don't feel that. We've conditioned our environments with air conditioning. We've conditioned our environments with buildings. We've created these structures where we live our entire lives within 2 or 3 feet of ourselves. And we're not moving, which is why we're designed. We actually came up onto our feet to move. But like I said, the first thing is simply to wake up. This is actually from the Nature magazine. This is the first image of the human heart and the flow within it. This is actually that force, that power within each one of us that is so subtle that you need to use magnetic resonance imaging to see. It's the first time that we could see the flow of the blood as it enters the heart. And just like a carburetor, it gets into the engine, it fires it up, and it lets it go. On your right, you'll see the circulation. And we always think of the heart as being the number one big thing. But it's not. It's your whole body. I tell people every day, all day, that when you actually work your thighs and your calves and your arms and your torso, you're actually returning the blood. There's no way on earth a 100 cc heart can ram that blood in. It has to be accepted by the pliability and elasticity in the blood vessels, and it has to be returned with the breath. And so once you wake up, the next step is to get out of bed, and that is to move. I think most of you know me some way or another, so you know that I'm on version 3.0. I was 270 pounds once. I was very successful, and I was miserable. I actually went through what I call the triple threat, where your mom dies, you're physically unwell, I got meningitis, practice went to hell in a handbasket. Wow, it sucked. And I went to a point of near catatonia and just gained weight and things weren't good. And then I woke up, but then I had to get out of bed. I just love the fact that the Striders are here, because this is what I did. Yeah, wow, I didn't plan this. But it's everything, and it could be running, it could be walking, it could be swimming, it could be cycling. It doesn't really matter, but you really just have to wake up and get out of bed. This is what the heart looks like. It's pretty cool. So when I go in to see a patient's heart and open it up, this is what I'll see. And you can see it moves, it wiggles and twists. The first person to really understand it was actually the artist Leonardo Da Vinci. He was the only one that really took the time to tease apart the nature of the heart. He could see things other people couldn't see, whether in color or form or function. And he described accurately what we only saw really about 10 years ago with MRI, is that the heart has basically got layers like a woven basket that weave and squeeze the blood in a circular, almost a spiral pattern out of the heart. And again, kind of looks the same, doesn't it? And again, the same heart. But if we're going to do anything with that circulation, the first and foremost priority of the body is oxygen. So we have to take that heart. On your left is a cardiac MRI of my heart, and it's looking at the squeezing action, and on your right is actually the breathing action of the heart. And for us as cardiologists, we have to stop one to look at the other. The observer can't be the observed at the same time. But they're actually integrated. And so the breathing in is what brings us life. It's actually when I was born, I had an umbilical cord wrapped around my neck, so I didn't get that first breath right away. I met the nurse who actually delivered me because I had a twin sister that came out before, and she told me all about it. It's pretty cool, and it was really real. So I was kind of blue. So I really don't take breath for granted. It's kind of an interesting thing. And when I die, just like my dad, when he died, it will go with an exhalation. So we have to look at the breathing in as an integral part of the breathing out. And then the next and probably the most important thing, and this is one of the things that I found that yoga had that a lot of other disciplines did not. I was in the yoga closet. I just told everybody I was going for a stretch. But you can do that in a lot of other things. The reason that I like it is actually because yoga wasn't developed for stretching. In fact, the original text 5,000 years ago hardly mentioned stretching or any of the physical. It mentioned actually the mental, the ability to set your focus, not to go into la-la land, not to go into a state of suspension, but rather to deal with the same dealings that everybody's always had, is how do we manage ourselves, our minds, and our day? That's actually the most important part, by far. The third, is actually the inquiry of why do we do what we do? So many of us find ourselves doing something and we're not really sure why we're there. I think those two things deserve a lot of attention, because when we get out of bed and we go do these things, we make a lot of assumptions that are incorrect. One of the things that I found in my patients, some of whom I see here, is they kind of get this. Because when you go through a triple threat like I did, or you go through a sudden, unexpected potential catastrophe where your whole being is in jeopardy, you really do rethink a lot of things. And then if you know me, you know what I want you to do is to get moving and get on with what I call inspiration, to find the next iteration of you, to become that person, and use the tools that you've been given. That's your heart. That's the most important part of your heart. This is Isle of Hope. One of my neighbors, Noel Wright, I think he went up in one of those little itty-bitty tiny planes. He took this picture, and this is actually kind of the path of my life. You kind of come back on yourself a few times, but it's not always clear why you started in the direction that you were going. And so from a mechanistic standpoint, the heart is just like a car engine. That's the way we approach it. But from a spiritual standpoint, it's much, much more. So how do we honor ourselves? Well, honestly, I do agree with this. Eat, drink, and be merry. These are our first key limes. I can't wait to see what happens with them. And yet, we pour stuff into our bodies that's not so good. This is good here, by the way. I didn't get to eat it, but it's all good. Why on earth would we consider poisoning any of it? Hippocrates, I got his first book. It was good. He said, I can go into any land and I can tell you what diseases and ailments will affect everybody there. He said, look at what they eat. Look at what they breathe. Look at what they do. And the ancient Egyptians, who had a lot of money and could eat a lot of food that wasn't so good for them, had coronary heart disease just like we do. So we have choices that we make, but we need to honor our body by making choices that are healthy for it, because that is actually who we will become. We basically turn over most of our cells every 180 days. So if I was 270 pounds, it took me about 2 years to shed most of it and to reform myself. We're in a constant balance, a dance of reformation, of transformation. And whatever we choose to do on any given day is who we will become on the next. And so you can take a look to your left or to your right. So when I go to the hospital sometimes, we have a little kind of bar, and it looks just like that, except all the good stuff is on the left and all the bad stuff is on the right. And there's never a line on the left. I mean, I can't fix everybody. That's not my job. So when I go to the store, people are always looking at my cart and stuff like that. I ran into a sandwich place, and one of my friends was there, and he says, I'm here because of you. Because it said whole grains. It's only 5 things, 5 to 7 fruits and vegetables a day. Whole grains if you have access to them. Maybe a handful of nuts if you like nuts. Maybe a couple of servings of fish a week, preferably a cold water fish. If you like alcohol, hey, yeah, alcohol's fine in the proper dose. So for a woman, it's half a drink to a drink a day because they're littler. For a boy, it's 1 to 2 because they're bigger. The interesting thing is that our binge mentality, like we're going to have 4 meals in one on Thanksgiving Day, doesn't serve us well, because I'm on call a lot on Thanksgiving Day, and we're worse off than the plumbers because it all gets clogged up. The same is true with alcohol. So if you binge on a weekend and drink 7 drinks in one day, it harms you. If you space it out and drink 1 every day, it helps you. It's really simple. Simple math. So the middle path is where we go, but the choices are pretty clear. Nobody's forcing you. So this is what you can see at a nice market. This is what you can see across the world. There's no reason that you can't go to any restaurant, any supermarket in the world and eat healthfully. But this is what we do. This is the average American family. I think this is out of North Carolina. Let me see. Yeah. Spaghetti, potatoes, sesame chicken. Sounds good, but not really. This is Germany. We got a lot of beer there. A lot of potatoes. I think this is interesting. I think this is China. You don't really need to see the fine detail to know that they've got fruits and vegetables. So as you go down the food chain, look at this. This is Asia. Wow. And this is some of the poorest people in the world. Wow. So we have choices, and we can make them. It's not a matter of how much we have, it's how little we have. And remember, our culture is based on we are always in fear of not having enough. And most of the rest of the world, if you go to there, they probably set you down and have you a meal. It's not a problem for them. They don't have much to lose, and they're not looking to gain. So this is kind of where we are, maybe a little bit much. But probably the most important thing, remember those IV bottles, the things that I saw or I showed you at the very beginning? So when I get a catastrophic illness patient, how do you think I do the calculation on who's going to make it and who's not? It's who's in the room, not the patient. They have to have a reason to wake up out of their coma, to get out of that bed and do the physical therapy. And even if they're out of it, if they don't have a reason, most of the time they're not going to make it. Life is hard, so you have to have a reason to do it. And love and family is always in every society, in every part of the world, in every time domain of this world, always been the most important thing. Those are my boys. Us. Next generation. So as we breathe out, we take a next breath in. We transform ourselves every day by what we do, what we eat, while we're there, the direction that we go. You have to do it for you. You have to be selfish, because the breath in takes some work. The breath out, it just goes out. At the end of our lives, you want to make sure that that ride that you had in that wonderful vehicle that was given to you at your birth, that you took good care of it. The moon sets at Tybee. This is an acknowledgement of all of you, because when I was going through one version of me, it was my patients, my family that saved me. There'll be other versions, but I'm not a guru. I'm just a physician. We call it a practice because we have to try to do a little bit better every day. All the data changes every day. But what I'd like to actually give to you is the ability for you to take a moment to listen to your own hearts and really listen to your own guru. Because each one of us has a teacher. From my heart to yours.